To put it bluntly.
Hello everybody, welcome to another breathtaking episode of To Put It Bluntly. It's myself, Cameron, a newfound YouTuber and social media star in the making, maybe, if you subscribe. Anyway, getting off topic. I am joined as ever by Mr. Job.
Hello, everyone. It's
Wobbles.
Wobbles. Yes, still got a job. 8 weeks in, not been fired. That's a success.
And we are joined by a very special guest, Bruno. And I kind of guess Mollie there as well.
I was gonna pick him up, but then he just would have been really annoyed
Yeah,
at me.
just keep it there. He looks comfortable.
He's
Just keep
chilling.
it there. Yeah.
He's a good boy.
Yeah, so we're joined by Mollie. Maybe you know her as Little Motac. And yeah, we'll just get into a brief discussion. So let's start with our guest. What have you been playing this week?
This week, as ever, I've been playing Overwatch way too much. I don't think there's been a week in the last decade when I haven't played it. But I've also been playing the new Doom, which has been really fun. I started Lake, which is like quite old at this point. It came out like a few years ago. But I started playing Lake.
Is that the Postwoman?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Yeah.
I'm prepping for Death Stranding too.
Yeah.
I'm getting
them similar games.
Yeah.
Load up Paperboy from the 90s. Yeah.
I used to love that game. Maybe that's where it all began. I wanted to be like a person who worked in a post office or a postman when I was a kid. So maybe it did start from Paperboy.
Oh, the private investigators didn't find that, funnily enough.
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, they're not very good, are they?
No.
I haven't done the research.
I want my refund.
Yeah. So.
What about you, Wobbles? What have you been playing?
I've got a separate. Right, I've been playing. Not a lot this week. Been busy with work. Well, that sounds really lame.
Oh, do you have a job? I don't think you've said.
Shut up, Cameron. It's you that says it every week.
Yeah,
I've been playing FC as I'm the same as Mollie and Overwatch.
Every week.
Every week it's FC. I actually started a playthrough of Valheim with some friends. And I know that's quite old. I died. I died a lot.
Yeah, expected.
Yeah, it's quite good actually. I was surprised. I'm getting a few of my friends are really into their survival MMOs at them, or not even survival MMOs, but just survival multiplayers. So we did a playthrough of Return to Moria, and now we've jumped on to Valheim. So yeah, I played that this week, and that's about it really. I am neglecting Oblivion, but yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine getting so excited over a game, he's just about to cry, and then he ignores it for a month.
It's a big game.
I've
been ignoring it as well. I started it and then I just haven't, because it's so vast.
It's a commitment, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I suppose when you've got a bit of free time like I do, you can play a bit more. But yeah,
how's everyone been as well? Oh.
Yeah, not too bad. Whoa!
Hold on, what have you been playing, Cameron?
Yeah, thank you for asking. I never thought you would. I've been playing Blueprints still. Because they finally fixed the bug yesterday with the save data kept messing up. So I went back into that. And I played Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy. Like the PSP version that was on PS5. Lego games have improved. Massively. Still a good game, nostalgia, but yeah. Like the ease of access, being able to, just change characters on the fly in the hub menu. It's just crazy. But other than that, I watched the new Final Destination as well.
Oh,
pretty good.
I've heard good things.
I did enjoy it. Never look at an MRI machine the same way though. But there we go. But anyway, yeah, that's about it for me, I think, this week. Not too much.
No. Good. How's everyone been as well? I'm not gonna lie, I entered holiday mode about 25 minutes ago because I've got a week off now. We're off to Devon for a week. So I am fully in holiday mode. This coffee was very nearly a tin of beer out the fridge. I was like, nope, save that for an hour and then.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm tired and slowly just creeping through the days by my fingernails, but in like a good way, like a positive way, just like in a I'm very tired way, but not tired from bad things, just tired from good things, just tired, but
Yeah.
good.
Tired but good.
I think you need
Yeah.
that, Molly. You need to get on a t-shirt. I said it, Cameron, before you say it.
We need a spin-off podcast. Tired but good.
Yeah, tired but good.
Like,
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I can't complain. Like it's like it's I mean, being disabled but doing good things, and so just all mixes together, just very tired. But like, who isn't tired?
Yeah. Yeah. Me and Wobbles are known for our naps.
We love a nap.
Oh,
Yeah, we love a good nap.
Mhm.
I am.
take naps.
I started a sort of diet. It's not really a diet. It's just cutting down and drinking water instead of other things. But
Mm.
and yeah, other than that, really not much to report. I got a tortoise now. His name is George.
Oh,
He was my
such a-
nan's. He was my nan's. My nan hasn't died. She just couldn't look after him anymore, so
yeah,
we
I'm
got
very
him now.
jealous.
But he's named after my grandfather. He did die. He did die.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that.
Imagine seeing someone's grandfather died and you just hear laughing.
No, I was gonna say, I was like,
Yeah.
clarify that I wasn't laughing
yeah.
at your dead
No,
grandmother.
I know.
It's the
Yeah.
tortoise.
I love the.
I love the fact. I love the fact that she's named the tortoise after him.
Yeah. But old George like goes around the house eating strawberries, bugging the dog.
Oh,
He'd probably bug the ducks as well if he saw them.
does the dog does he bother the tortoise at all?
I was just about to ask that.
She smells him and then she's like, "Yeah, you go and do your own thing. I'll lie in my bed."
You're
But
fine.
she's like a lurcher, so they're quite calm-natured anyway. I would imagine Jack Russell would do well with one.
Ruby did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, she's quite thing. Like it crawls on her bed sometimes, and she's just like, "Oh shit, it's there. I better move." Yeah,
Oh, so like the tortoise like wins out.
Oh, if the tortoise goes in her bed, she'll move.
She's gone.
Yeah, and she's like, God knows how much times bigger. Big baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, new tortoise. Yeah, I think that could sum it up. Really. New tortoise.
Not bad.
So
Who doesn't want a new tortoise?
I do.
let's move on to the real reason we are. Well, the real reason people listen, because it's definitely not for me and you, Cameron.
No.
And we've gathered this. It's fine.
Yeah.
People would like to know. I can imagine that's why they're listening. Molly, who is? I always ask this question. It sounds really deep. Who is Molly and who is Little Motak, as you are sometimes more commonly known these days?
Yeah. Oh. Well, she's a bit of a twat, really. She's, Well, hello.
Clip
I came on, like, you did warn me. You were like, so we're gonna ask you questions about yourself, and I was like, yeah, that's fine. And now it's here. I'm like, oh my god, I have to talk about myself and like exist and be perceived. Hello, I'm Molly Little Motak, and basically like content creator, and a lot of my content focuses on inclusion within gaming, particularly for like disabled people, because I'm disabled, so it's like a group I relate to, and particularly for women because I identify as a woman and that's what I relate to. But just in general, like I just want better equality in the games industry because there just ain't any at the moment. And so I make a lot of content focused around that, a lot of accessibility reviews, sort of like analyzation of the games industry. And then also I run a very small, very new nonprofit called Nothing Without Us. And we essentially do two things. We do like education side of things where we create content online. Oh my god, apologies. The doorbell just rang.
Yeah,
So
there we go. No worries.
the dog's gone. And so we do essentially like education on one side, and then on the other side we do travel funding for disabled developers, professionals, create like content creators to basically attend events in the UK without like the burden of cost, because like being disabled is factually just so expensive in comparison to being non-disabled. And so trying to fit travel to events into your budget to network or anything like that is just like an added cost that I don't really think disabled people should have to worry about. So that is like what I do, and
So,
hopefully it's fine.
let's start with the kind of first thing. You said if you don't mind, you said you were disabled. Would you mind telling us a bit about that, like when it started, if you were born
Yeah.
with it, what it is, and
Yeah. So it is. Technically, I was born with it. I didn't start having. Well, I had trouble my whole life. Basically, I have a genetic disorder called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which there's like a bunch of subtypes, and I have the hypermobile subtype, which basically just means my DNA doesn't know how to make collagen correctly, and everything's just a bit stretchy, which would be fine if you didn't need your joints to stay in place. And so basically, like, it means that I partially dislocate a lot of my joints like on the daily, which just led to injury. And so that started to get like disabling at about 17. And then it's just slowly progressed and got worse from there. Um, and so I now just my legs just don't work is how I explain it to people
so
that
it's a
the
good,
short way.
it's a good thing you didn't want to get into rugby or something, you know.
Yeah.
Well, do you know, I turned to my mum the other day and I was like, do you know, I think if I didn't have this body, I could run a marathon. And she was like, well, yeah, maybe. But does that matter? And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, if I didn't have this body, I reckon I could, like, I'm so just fixed on the idea that I could run a marathon if I didn't have this body. Like, I'm not that
Yeah.
bothered about it, but I'm just like, I have this sort of ego within me that just assumes in another life I am like a big time marathon
Yeah, triathlon
runner.
and Iron Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have. It's mad how I have the same analogy. I'd be an F1 driver because I can't drive and I've never been able to drive. I'm like in the past, I'd be an
It's
F1
not
driver
life.
because it takes it to the next extreme, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like just in another life, I just think that would be me.
Yeah.
I just imagine surviving in another life. So
Yeah.
yeah, bit more grounded.
um, but alongside the EDS, I'm also diagnosed autistic, which I think like I used to be quite like I used to hold like being autistic quite close to my chest, just because I'm very like high masking, very like fairly low support needs and everything, and so I felt like I didn't want to talk about it in particular circumstances. But I think being a woman with autism, it's less visible, so I feel more comfortable talking about it now, and also considering the world and the way that the world is currently viewing autism once again, I think it is important to just show that autism just exists and is also sometimes just like that's fine, like that's a neutral thing. So yeah, that's my vibe.
You're just part of as put by the lead twat himself. You're just part of the epidemic, Molly.
Yeah, I am.
So are me. So's Cameron. It's
Yeah.
It was all those COVID boosters I got. I think it just hit me
Yeah.
wrong, and
Yeah.
here we are.
To be fair, it didn't upgrade me to 5G, so I'm fuming.
Yeah. Same.
So, obviously you said you got into content creating, and I think you've mentioned like you've been to university. What did you study at university, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, completely unrelated to anything. Like I didn't ever do a job in it. I went to school for no, not for film. I went for illustration. But then I graduated my illustration degree and then immediately went to work in film. So never used it at any point, and now it's just a fun little hobby. So
So, how did you get from that to video games?
I got into gaming like when I was about 14, and it got really big when I went to uni because I basically made friends with all like the game development people.
Yeah.
And like they would just talk about their games. And I'm like, wow, okay, people do that. Well, like obviously like people do that for a job, but like it just seemed really unattainable. Um And so I was just off doing my little drawings, and they were like working with computers and stuff like that. And I then graduated uni and went into film, which I loved film. But anybody that has ever worked in film will tell you that it is completely just inaccessible as an industry. I worked in post production, and it's just not like, it's why there's so few disabled people in the film industry, because it is just so inaccessible. And I basically got too ill to continue my job, essentially. Like, my body was just shutting down. And so I can't remember who it was, but someone once said to me, they're like, why don't you try Twitch streaming? Because you just talk to yourself all the time when you play games. So maybe like you can actually talk to people. And so I started a Twitch just randomly one day, while I was still in my film job. And I originally did it for art and then moved over to games. And then when I had to leave my film job, I then went into a part-time job in retail. And I, alongside that, was doing Twitch. And so I was essentially filling the hours that I had left with now doing a part-time job rather than a full-time job with Twitch. And so I just very much fell into it accidentally. And then with that, I just made loads of friends through Twitch. And I think once you have that like community there, you like stay in it.
Yeah.
And so then I just never left. And now everybody's stuck with me.
So your Twitch career then, by the sounds of it, kind of led to your advocacy for accessibility, which is how we met. And do you want to tell us a bit how you got into that? Because everyone's story differs greatly. There's no like set story into accessibility. Most people kind of stumble into it, or
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, literally every person. Oh, apologies, my mother. Essentially, like, I was the same, where I fell into it accidentally. Like, I've always been like, like, there's always that joke of like, oh, that one woke friend that's really annoying. I am that friend, and I will always be that friend, and I've always been that friend, proudly so. And so I was always like really into politics. I always had a huge interest in it. I always had I mean, autism. My special interest was literally like, how do we make a more equitable society? And so that's just what I do in my free time all the time. And I didn't even know like accessibility as a sort of job role or like anything existed. And so I literally fell into it accidentally when I started meeting like other disabled gamers, and they would talk about it, and they'd talk about like the lack of like accessibility in a game, or they'd talk about this person they knew that was an accessibility consultant or anything like that. And so I very much fell into it accidentally by A, finding out about it, and B, I think I sort of got sort of pigeonholed into it, in terms of people were like, oh, you are disabled, you're a gamer, and you care about things. And so you
fit the brief.
yeah, basically. So I wasn't like, I never went, I am an accessibility consultant or like anything like that. It was literally like, you are disabled, you care about things, and you are a gamer, so this is where you're at now.
Sometimes
and then it was literally
it's also the fourth thing that helps, and I'd say to a lot of people is if you're gobby as well, that does help in the accessibility space because of the advocacy. Exactly. So yeah, that's the 4 tick boxes for me: is disabled, gamer, gobby, and you're away. Go from it.
Yeah, it literally was just that I just got pushed into it, and so I just sort of, it was one of those things of like, once I knew it existed, I just got very interested in it. And I think like the wonderful thing about accessibility is when you start learning it, it's sort of like there's all these different branches to it. So like I have a huge interest in like the physical accessibility of spaces, like actual like event spaces and things like that. Because like I know nothing about game development, so I don't feel like accessibility within game development is like my strong suit. But as far as like accessibility within events and things like that, that's more my realm of knowledge. And it just is like the most interesting thing. And also it's just really nice, I think, particularly if you are within the disabled community, to be able to see like the celebrations and wins of like when we get a truly accessible game and like everybody can like be like, oh, we can play it. It's like just fuels the fire basically. It's really nice.
Yeah. One question I got, because I always get it. Do your parents know sort of the way you're doing? Because my parents say, "Oh, you just sit at a computer all day and just post pictures." So
Yeah.
do your parents sort of like get with the streaming and like all the advocacy you do?
I think my parents know that I stream gameplay online. I don't think they get it all, but like they try. And they now know that I have this like non-profit. I don't know if they entirely know what we do or the purpose of it.
Yeah.
They have like an outline, a plot summary, if you will, of
Yeah.
everything. But could they tell me what I do on a day-to-day basis? Probably not. They'd just be like, you just
Yeah.
you go on your computer and stuff.
My dad is still comes to me and he goes, "You've got a proper job," and I'm like, "Yeah," and he's like, "They're paying you a wage, aren't they?" I'm like, "Yeah," and he's like, "And what are you doing?" I'm like, "Kind of what I was doing
Playing
before,
games?
but for other people." And he was like, "What? So you're still kind of playing games for a living?" And I just go, "Yeah, Dad, I just play games for a living. That's they're all
Yeah.
stick." And he's like, "They pay you that to do it?" I'm like, "Yes, Dad, yes." What? And I'm like, "Cheers, Dad. You know, he's my biggest fan, though. I can't deny it. But he's also
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Aw.
he's like that. He's like, okay, and then rings me up and goes, "How's work going this week?" And I go, "This, this, this," and he goes, "Oh, okay," and then that's it. End of discussion because he hasn't got a clue yet.
Yeah.
But
You get
It's
stream with your
sometimes-
dad.
oh, he's quality. So
Yeah.
you've taken one step further recently, haven't you? You've kind of gone from yeah, have I? You've gone from
What did I do?
doing it on your own, and in the last 12 months, you set up an event, which was a very, very good event that both me and Cameron attended. That was
And spoke it?
and spoke
Well,
at.
you spoke.
Yeah,
You spoke live. I did pre-record
yeah.
it.
And you've taken that event, added it as part of your company, community interest group, and then gone one step further and employed people.
Yes, scarily so. Scarily so. Yeah. So basically, for anyone that knows literally nothing about me whatsoever, I basically in 2023, I think it was, I basically got a bit. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a bit pissed off. I think I've already sworn, so I don't
Yeah,
know
I
why
was gonna
I
say
asked.
you
Yeah,
already
you
said
have.
twat,
It's
yeah.
fine. It's fine. We're not going to get.
Yeah.
We don't care.
Okay.
It's me and Cameron. You've heard me and him speak in
Yeah.
real life, so yeah.
I got a bit pissed off basically of like every July is like Disability Pride Month here and in the US. And I just got pissed off with like no games companies doing anything to like market. Because like I don't think it takes a lot. Like, I don't know, a post on social media, like anything, like
So
breadcrumbs, summon.
just to jump on that, what annoys me is
Yeah.
normally the month before it's Pride Month, right?
Mhm.
And companies will change banners or their Twitch account, or not Twitch account, Twitter account on their Facebook, put a logo change, and I'm fully behind it. And then the first day of Disability Pride Month's come, and they go back
It's
to
gone.
it's gone, and they go back to normal, and I'm
Yeah.
like, one company, please. And I think Xbox did something this year, and I was like, yes, because it was
Yeah, Halo, is it Halo?
Halo
They changed their
always
name
do
recently.
something every
Yeah, they
year.
always do
Yeah,
something.
I normally
Love them.
yeah they always do something in game, whether
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
in-game skin, an in-game announcement, or something. And Fortnite last year or maybe the year before did add a skin, not a skin, a backpack, and then they added a ASL emote, which was GG well played, and I still use that because
Didn't know that.
I like to be toxic and accessible in the same space.
It was like, you're right, like that's the thing, like I am like queer myself, and even for me, like seeing like as soon as June is over, every company's like, "I'm going back to regularly scheduled program," and I'm like, okay, I mean, literally all you did for Pride Month anyway was change your bloody profile picture.
Yeah.
I feel like we can just change it again. And so I basically got to a point where I was like, you know what, tired of this. I'm gonna do something, don't know what yet. And I basically just started like cold emailing companies to be like, hey, I really want to do some events for Disability Pride Month. Don't know if you've heard of it. Planning on it. And I then started reaching out to like other disabled like content creator pals and stuff like that. And I picked like 4 topics, and like I think it's like every Friday or Saturday of July, we did a stream, like a panel podcast type stream like this. And we just discussed being disabled and like being disabled in the industry and accessibility within gaming and all that kind of stuff. And it did way better than I ever could have hoped. Like Elgato sponsored it and slapped us on their Twitch page, which was amazing. And then Twitch put us on the front page, which was amazing. And so it just did like really well. And I was actually genuinely shocked. And so I was like, okay, well, clearly this is like needed. Like we clearly again are getting breadcrumbs. So like I will be the breadcrumb. And so then in 2024, I did another like panel podcast type stream, but it was like a whole bunch of different panels, talks, and all that kind of stuff. And it was like, again, blew my mind how nice people were about it. And then also did a in-person event in London, which like you guys said you attended. And it was like the amount of people, as in like companies that wanted to be involved, was like wonderful, and also again a shock to me. And I think that's the thing, it made me realize that like it's not like I think I was thinking of like companies as this like giant big entity. And it's made me realize that there are people within these companies who do care. They just need to be given the opportunity to like care, because maybe they can't do something within the big entity of their giant company. But if you say like, hey, I want to do something, will you be involved? They're more than happy to, and they do care. And that's really, really nice. And so after that, I basically went, okay, why don't we just do this all year? Like one of the like big things when I did the in-person event was travel within London is freaking expensive. Like it's so costly. And I was like, I really want, if we're gonna get sponsors for this, to do travel funding for it. So if people need the money to travel, they can, it's there. And that's not gonna be a barrier to them coming. And then I realized, I was like, if I was able to do it for this teeny tiny little event with like the small, like my budget wasn't big for the event, why do companies not just do this in general? Why do they not put money aside? Because it's not just for disabled people, like even people from like lower socioeconomic backgrounds, or people, like most events happen in the South, people that live up north, like it's freaking expensive, like even for like content creators to go to PR events. So I was like, why are companies not just setting money aside to do that? And so basically the same as I did in 2023, I went, well, I will be the company that puts the money aside to do that. And so now we exist. There's 3 of us. It's me, Sadie, Tasker, also known as Jaws, and Lauren, also known as Radders, who are both absolutely wonderful. And Radders was like the first person I've been able to hire, which is terrifying.
Molly,
because
you need to do one thing for us.
Oh, yes.
Say the name of the company, because you haven't done that yet.
Oh, it's called Nothing Without Us. I just went into like information mode.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. Yep. So
yeah, so we started this like it's a community interest company, which basically means we are a non-profit. And the reason I did that over a charity was because charities have so much paperwork, and I am one person. But we essentially operate exactly the same. Just we have to pay taxes, so it's just bureaucracy, really. And yeah, so we just are a non-profit, and we just want to give like free resources to like disabled devs and professionals for getting into the games industry. Want to like cover people's travel to go to like networking events or like PR events, anything like that. Because I just like it physically annoys me that it is so hard for disabled people to get into the games industry. Like it physically irritates me, and no one's doing anything about it. Particularly like taking work from home away, like exhausting.
Yeah. Do you know, it sounds, what I like is me and you kind of got into the space at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
We both kind of did it the same route-esque through Twitch and through, like you've said, meeting people and doing it that way. And we've both got to a point, and you've done what you've exactly always said you would, which was you would make events accessible, and you wanted to start making events accessible. And it's great to see, because you've kind of picked that battle that I don't see many content creators doing, many accessibility advocates talking about, which is actually getting to an event. Or
Yeah.
to
It's
the
like
we met at EGX for the first time in person, and
yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah, and it's not accessible, is it?
No, it's I think it is like one of those things unless you are disabled, like because it's like it can be any disability. And I think also like when non-disabled people think about getting to events, they think of like maybe like people with like mobility disabilities. So like it's, you know, physically hard to get to the event, but it's not that. It's like it's necessarily like if you're autistic, like the whole idea of networking, like it fills me with dread, so I don't want to do that. So it's how do we make networking accessible without it being absolutely terrifying and anxiety inducing? It's like how do you make it so that people can afford to attend your events if they're like in the north or anything like that, because like disabled people aren't relegated to the south of England. And so it is like it's just all these things that make it so inaccessible. And particularly like as like you and I said, like you and I both started off in content creation, attending events is so expensive. Like PR events, they're always in London. Getting to London for me costs like 50 quid return. If you've got 2 events in a week, that's 100 quid. That's so much money. And it's and also travel within London isn't always accessible. Like if you are a wheelchair user, you can't use every tube station. Not every bus is like there's only one wheelchair spot on a bus. If you can't get on a bus, you've then got to take like a taxi, which is then even more. And so this is just me, just
No,
again info dumping
this is
now.
what we wanted. That's why you're here.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
but it is just like it's all these things that make traveling as a disabled person so difficult. So it's like, why not just take, if you, for instance, if you are a wheelchair user, isn't it just easier to get on a train and get to like Paddington Station, get a taxi all the way there, or just get an Uber all the way there in general, rather than like thinking of the cheapest way and having to plan it and the admin in your head and all that kind of stuff. So it just, I don't know, like I think travel is a very highly neglected part of accessibility, particularly within the UK, because it is so small but so big at the same time.
And so expensive.
Yeah.
So expensive. It's so expensive. Like Cameron, you know, coming from Wales, going to, I can't imagine how much it costs you to go to any event.
What was it you discussed?
It's 100 return to Panton, 103.
So we were literally this week. Cameron sent me a message via because we're both attending Develop alongside yourself. You're hoping to go, and Cameron messaged me, and I think he was like, return train to Brighton, 110, or bus like a super coach, whatever it's called, 15. I was like, how is that the fucking difference?
Yeah. And you'd think the bus would take like 5 times the length. No.
Yeah.
I think it takes an hour and 40 minutes longer.
That's crazy. But also like 110 from Wales, for me, I live in the south of England, granted on like the other side from Brighton, but it cost me 117 to get there, to get down to Brighton. And I don't live, I would say I live exponentially far from Brighton. And it like, particularly like trains are just ridiculous, the cost of them.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So
Megabus or National Express
we've
for the win.
we've gone on a tangent. But
We
question
have,
I
I'm
would
so
like
sorry.
no we like tangents. Me and Cameron love a tangent. What's next for Little Motac? And
Well, in life or in work? That's the question.
ooh,
Either-
but let's start with life actually, because I know you.
Life?
I know I follow you on Instagram, and I know you've just applied for a certain thing to maybe up and relocate for specific
I have.
reasons.
My fiance lives in the US. We've been together like 4 years, and so last year actually, it's been like almost a year now. We applied for my visa to move over there, which I will remain neutral on that fact, given that I still would like to move to be with my
Yeah.
partner. And so next is like basically the idea is that I carry on with Nothing Without Us over there, because I essentially am not allowed to work once I move to the US. So like Nothing Without Us is like free, it's volunteer work, so I can legally still be allowed to do that from over there because I earn no money from it. So that's fine, that'll continue. But yeah, I think it'll just mean that stuff definitely changes of how that works, because like if we do any in-person events or meetups, I won't be able to be there. So it might mean like hiring someone else who'll be that point of contact and all that. So yeah, it's scary. It's changing my whole life. But I am starting a graduate degree this end of this year because
Ooh.
I was like, wow, I'll be unemployed. I have so much time on my hands with moving country and planning a wedding.
Yeah, you're going to
Why
have
don't
loads
I
of time
start?
to throw a degree in there.
Yeah. Why don't I do a graduate degree instead? So yeah, very excited. It's all I just like
What was
doing.
it?
I
I'm
like doing
I'm
shit.
tired, but good tired.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it literally. I bring it upon myself. Like I'm also writing a book. Because I wanted a new hobby, and I was like, I could just write. I used to write books all the time as a kid,
Yeah, I
and
used to as well.
yeah, so I was like, how hard could I used to do it as a kid? Why don't I just do it as an adult? Why is that so scary? So now I'm just writing a book, vibing, new hobby, planning a wedding,
running a
starting
community interest
degree.
group, starting a degree,
Bit of a quiet life then, yeah.
Yeah, just chilling.
and
I
and also
love it.
playing some Overwatch in there. Where do you fit the Overwatch into
Oh,
all of this? So
there's always time for Overwatch.
yeah, why Overwatch? Let's just end on that. So we'll end on the gaming. Why Overwatch? Because coming from a male perspective, right? There is
Yeah.
nothing worse than being a female in an Overwatch lobby or a female in any
Any
video
lobby,
games
really?
lobby.
Yeah.
But
I was about to say,
Overwatch,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Overwatch specifically has that MOBA level of toxicity that I just, and then to throw yourself into that game is phenomenal. But then to go, because I know
Well,
you do voice comms and everything, don't you? You just,
oh
so
yeah.
yeah. So I know for a fact you don't just play Overwatch, you experience Overwatch as a female
Oh yeah.
presenting person and are quite open about it, and it just creates
Yeah.
content. It does create content, I can't lie,
Well,
but
I
Yeah.
mean, like, the thing is, I mean, have you guys ever played Overwatch, or
yeah,
like,
yeah,
when was the
cool.
last time you
Yeah.
played it?
Yeah, not too much, but yeah, played a bit.
When was the last time you played it?
I'm
That's
going
the
to say
important question.
maybe
Pre-COVID.
last year. No, I played it more recent than that. We have given it another go previously.
Okay, well, I have to say that the Overwatch famously, whether the angry straight men like it or not, Overwatch has famously been taken over by the girls and the gays. Like it's just a fact now. And so like it I would say, compared to like Marvel Rivals, I would never play Marvel Rivals because it's just obscene.
Yeah.
Valorant, same. Call of Duty, worst thing I could imagine playing as a woman. But Overwatch, I tell you what, yes, there's some awful, terrible men in it, who tell me to go back to the kitchen. It's all like the
Oh, of course it
classics,
is.
like
It's the
go back to
Yeah.
the
classics. Go back. Yeah.
kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah, go make me a sandwich. Like it's the classics. But it's like it'll be like one in like every 10 games you'll meet like another woman, or you'll meet like another queer person, and you can just like have a good time with it, and it's really funny. But also like I think I'm very privileged in that I built up a very thick skin, and that I just do not give a shit.
I'm the
Like
same. Yeah.
I'm very much like, you tell me to go back to the kitchen, you want to yell at me because I'm a woman, you want to just be like, okay, game's done, and you're angry and grumpy, and like I'm having a good time. So like it's just very. I think it also helps that I'm not very competitive. Like I've never been competitive in my whole life, so like I play Overwatch because I genuinely like the game. If I'm losing, we're losing and having fun. If there's a grumpy man in our game and we're losing, there's a grumpy man in my game, we're losing, we're having fun. So it is genuinely just like I'm just having a good time no matter what. And so like, I mean, very unbothered, remaining unbothered. I think also, like, if you are like a female content creator anyway, you just end up building up thick skin. Like, I'll post TikToks where I will literally just be like, hey, this man did this sexist thing. And inevitably, I know that there's going to be men in there being like, I think you're just being a baby. I think you're just being a big old baby. And like, you deserved it. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm glad we're all having a good day today. And I'm glad we all have our thinking caps on about everything. So I think it is just like part of being a woman in gaming and also a woman
it's
content
bad.
creator.
Bad it is. Like, it eventually should get to a place where it shouldn't even be
It's
an
like-
issue.
yeah, I'm privileged enough to say like I don't get a lot of stick because white male in video gaming space. It's a cliche. But one thing I have got stick for wasn't a disability, wasn't the fact of wobble.
Yeah.
It was the hairline, and I was like, ouch, ouch.
To be fair,
someone
I
looked
am
like
very guilty.
It's quite common on TikTok where someone will comment being like, "Nice hairline, bro." I'm like, "Ow! Don't, not the hairline."
Is it from other men?
Yeah.
That's so, be your own kind. That's so. See, at least I don't get it from other women really. So like I'm like we're in this together.
Yeah.
But like when it's
Yeah.
other men insulting you.
And it's always the hairline. It's never anything else. It's always the hairline. That's why I live in a hat now.
Yeah.
Listen, wear it. But that's the thing. Like wear it loud and proud. Like who gives?
I don't give a shit. It's funny. Yeah. But
like it is just like gaming is because I wholeheartedly do not think gaming could be like that. Like whenever I see a wholesome moment in gaming, I'm like, it could always be like this. Like we could all just live happily and like be little fucking losers sat in our house when we could be outside. But instead, everybody's just yelling at each other and being dickheads and taking out their anger on each other. Why can't we all just...
Well, we're all still sat inside when the sun's out. Yeah. At the end of the day, we're all in the same boat. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's all just be pals. It's all chilling. We're all like, especially like in the elo that I'm in Overwatch. I'm like, listen, we're all bad at the game. Like, none of us are gonna make it pro. Why are we caring this much? Like, if you want to go pro, let's get our like little focus on. You don't need to be yelling at me. And so yeah, it's just all very. The system is made up, basically.
It's people just getting angry for the sake of it, isn't it? Let's be honest.
You see it in tons of things. You see it in football, like teams lose and they'll have fan channels where they're like, you should have kicked that ball better. They'd get paid X amount of money.
So we
kicked our ball better.
Yeah.
That's how I understand football.
Yeah, kick the ball better, faster, harder, stronger.
So we have been chatting about yourself for some time now, Molly. So we will let you have a 2-minute break. But first of all, I'd like to say thank you for sharing yourself and your hard work. Like honestly, you don't give your. I think I've said this to you before. You don't give yourself enough credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
Well,
because
I just genuinely like. I just throw pasta at the wall and we just see what happens. So there's no like. I think if it was like, I don't know. I just think that there are so many people more in this industry doing so much more incredible, thoughtful things than I am.
Let me tell you, there isn't. There's not many people that have gone as to the length you have. So pat yourself on the back and just thank you for spending 40 minutes of your time so far chatting to me and Cameron and telling us about yourself and the amazing things you do. So we will call it there for a minute. We will have a quick minute break and we will be right back after a small interlude with... Oh, also, down in the dump, you will find links to all of Mollie's things. We'll do that bit here as well as at the end. So please go and drop her a follow. Look at what she's doing and everything, please. But yeah, like I said, we'll be back after a small interlude with this week's patch notes. Hello everybody and welcome back to episode 27 of To Put It Bluntly. We are still joined by my glorious co-host Cameron and the ever amazing Molly, or you may know her as Little Motac. As I just said, I think we are going into patch notes where we will be talking about the highs, lows and interesting moments that have occurred in the gaming world since our last podcast. I'm going to start this week, and I will be mentioning the fact that the CEO of, I can't remember the name of his company. Gearbox, Robert, is it? I have lost Randy Pitchford came out. I've got lost all my notes on my phone because I shut them down. Randy Pitchford came out and I said something along the lines of, Borderlands fans will find their way to pay £80 for Borderlands after the price was released, and got some pushback because it is £80 or $80. And yeah, he kind of basically came out and said, people will find a way to pay for it. And I'm going to be controversial here and say it's a real shitty thing to say. But do you know what? He's not wrong, because I am part of that bracket that would probably find my way to pay for it. Unashamedly, yeah, that's kind of me, because Borderlands is like the game series, another game series for me that I just adore. And like, yeah, it's a real shitty thing to say, and he shouldn't have said it. But yeah, I'm a culprit of finding the £80 to pay for it.
Also me.
Yeah.
I think, like,
yeah.
I think like you're right in that people will find a way to pay. I think it's like a really classist thing to say, particularly given like the cost of living crisis that is happening in both the UK and the US at the moment. So weird take, but like, yeah, not wrong. Like people will find
some people will agree with it. Like I don't like. I wouldn't pay £80 for Borderlands.
Yeah.
He's not exactly the most well-spoken person, maybe, to deliver the message. Like, I think he has come out with a lot of stuff in the past. There's a famous story of him leaving porn on a USB stick.
I saw that story and did not know how
in a Starbucks or a coffee shop.
Yeah,
he just left he just left a USB stick full of porn in a coffee shop.
It wasn't. It was a coffee place in the studio of Medieval 2, and some not a junior found it, went on it to see what it was because no one claimed ownership. Found some important files for the company because obviously he was quite high up in the company, and also a shitload of porn.
Yeah.
But apparently some of the titles were questionable.
Yeah.
Okay. Weird man.
Yeah.
That kangaroo didn't deserve that treatment.
Weird man. Yeah. I think like, because like games in general are just going up in price right now, and I understand it in terms of like technology is costing more, but I don't understand it in terms of like, we've seen all the games industry layoffs recently, but we've also seen like the record profits the games companies have had. So it's just not working out for me. Like, yeah, technology's got more expensive, so maybe you'd need to raise the price of games, but the employees certainly aren't seeing that.
No.
The people in the upper echelons are seeing it, so it just doesn't make any sense to me.
And like, what I'm noticing is the two biggest selling games so far this quarter apparently are Expedition 33 and remaster of Oblivion, right? Both of them came in at under 50 quid. So maybe people aren't willing to pay for and the other AAA games, unfortunately, the likes of Assassin's Creed Shadows, haven't hit expected sales because the price points, people aren't willing to pay that price point for a full game, whereas actually you can release a decent quality game in the form of Expedition or Oblivion and go, actually, if we make it 50 quid, people will buy it. Yeah.
People will like still buy Borderlands, obviously, because it's Borderlands. People love that series, but it's the way that he said it, sort of not condescending, but sort of like, oh yeah, we could make shit and you'd buy it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, we could just put a JPEG on a disc and you'd buy it for £80.
We could put some suspicious stuff on a USB.
Yeah, he is a very weird guy. Like, another story I've heard about him. So he did an auction because he wears like loud shirts to every like conference and thing he does. He did an auction for his shirts, and the estimated price was like 500. I know two people that got like two of them for 20 quid.
Was it for charity though? Was that
No, I think it was just for like raise money for the company.
Oh, bit weird.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
and got like 20. I don't know. He's like every time I see him, he's a bit weird.
But
Yeah. I
oh,
think like when
Weird
you
vibe.
become so high up in a company, you do. I mean, it's the same in like any company, not just gaming, but like specific in gaming. I think when you become so high up, you do lose like sort of touch and also empathy with like the people buying your games. So like it's a very flippant thing to say to be like, well, yeah, like people either gonna buy it or they won't. Like they'll probably buy it 'cause it's Borderland games, but it's like, yeah, okay, but like like it's literally individual people buying your game. Like it's not just like people as a concept.
yeah,
It's like
if
individual people who
Yeah,
like really like the Borderlands series. Like the Borderlands series is freaking decades old at this point.
if that
So
makes me feel old,
like
don't say that.
well, but like it's nice because it's like us millennials have like grown up with it. Like I never played Borderlands 1, but like Borderlands 2 was my first like loot and shooting game, and I played every like Tiny
Snap.
Tina's, all that. I played all of them since then. Love them. And so like I think it just when you get to like that high up, you start disregarding that like the people
You
buying your
forget where
games.
you came from. The cliche.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
like
forget where
Just
you.
see money. Just see money.
yeah,
So
I don't know.
I know what Cameron's going to talk about, and it's always an interesting topic that we. I don't think we've breached it really.
No, I think it's such a hot button topic. I think we've not
If
deliberately chosen to stay clear of it because no matter what we'll say, we'll upset somebody. But I'm talking about the AI Darth Vader in Fortnite. Uh, Fortnite are facing complaint from the Actors Union over it. So obviously, a human could have done that job. James Earl Jones, who was the voice of Darth Vader, passed away, but his family estate gets sold the rights to use his voice in future projects to Disney, who also did a deal with Epic.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I didn't think I'd wake up the other day and hear Darth Vader swearing, or
Oh, does he swear?
yeah, like people have got him to swear because it's like a
Oh,
talk.
I
It's like a
see.
talk.
I
It's
thought
a
you meant
talk
in
thing.
Fortnite, and I was like, oh my god, that's out of character.
They've got like the Darth Vader, so they might say, like we'll lose select drop, and Darth Vader will say like like an AI sort of answer, but it'll be in his voice
Mm-hmm.
with the character, and yeah, it's just a big issue.
why do
Like
people that put these things into games not realize how unhinged gamers are and what they're going to do?
Yeah,
yeah, so
very much
I
so.
sort of talk about like AI in a video I got coming up, and it's crazy how much has evolved in like 3 years. There's been like an issue. I kind of put it as it's like you have a caveman, and within 2 years he's got an AK-47 and shooting people.
Mm-hmm.
There should not be that amount of like evolution in that short space of time because I think Google released a new AI vid and it shows like content creators, like fake content creators playing Fortnite,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just mad. Like yeah, crazy. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. What do you think, Wobbs?
I don't know. It's something that I've avoided talking about massively because of the backlash you can receive. Like,
Yeah,
you shouldn't be using it to use as like for in certain situations like artwork, people's artwork, voices, actors. That's not on. That's someone's persona. That's someone's like right. But then you got to look at it as like actually you've kind of been using AI for accessibility tools for a long time with things that you like, especially inside the vision impaired community. We use a lot of AI. We use a lot of it all the time, and it's really hard for
Mm-hmm.
me to sit there and go, AI shit, but at the same time, I'm going to use it to read out what's on this label for me because that's all that's happening. It's AI doing that, and it's kind of like very much hard to kind of find a firm
I
stance on
think,
it when it's got positives and it's definitely got its negatives.
yeah, I mean, I don't think it has to be black and white, right? Like
Yeah,
AI is objectively evil. Like it doesn't have like I think it can be like both, where it's like we had sci-fi movies about AI like
Yeah,
for
they
bloody
early
decades.
warning signs, and people haven't
Well,
listened.
not even that, but like in the way that like we saw AI assistive tech within these like futuristic ideals of like helping people. So like in the same way, like, you know, a washing machine makes it a lot easier to do washing than like when you used to have to do it by hand. It's the same sort of
I
thing in
Robot,
that.
where he has this accident and his body's replaced with part AI because he's had an accident, and that's
Yeah. And it's this sort of thing of like it doesn't have to be like a blanket of like it's evil. I think that it is evil in terms of how unregulated it is.
yeah.
Very much so. Like I don't think that people that are in charge of any country currently are, at least like within the UK, are familiar enough with like technology and AI to
Have a stance on
put
it.
one to put policies in place to regulate it. Like I remember I made a video, God, it must have been like fucking 3 years ago now, about like deep fakes. And that was like really early like technology for like deep fakes. And how like men were just using them to create like sexually explicit videos of women and
Yeah,
stuff. And that has just continued and it's still not regulated. And like that's been going on for years. But because like, and I don't expect politicians to be like freaking tech experts. I'm not. But you would think that they would maybe look into it a little bit. And so I think it's, again, like it can be useful in terms of like assistive technology and stuff like that. But it is taking jobs from like artists and actors
Yeah.
and writers and all that kind of
Yep.
stuff. And so I think it's not bad inherently. I think it just needs to be regulated. Um, but I don't know if that will
yeah.
ever happen.
Like some people are like, oh, just get rid of it, but the genie's out the bottle now. There's no way you're going to be able to get rid of it.
I kind
Mm-hmm.
of want to get Darth Vader to sing some songs now. It's
Wobbles, you're part of the problem. Stop it. Darth
Yeah,
Vader does not sing Frozen in the continuity of Star Wars.
yeah. I think it's also like the environmental impact of it is like huge compared to like a
mm-hmm.
normal, like compared to a normal Google search, like using ChatGPT or even the Google AI that pops up now is so just uncomparable. And also the servers needed for it, like the green space that has to be knocked down for like servers for AI. So like that's the thing. If AI was just used like infrequently by humans when it's needed, it would be all chill. Like the environmental impact would not be
It's the
that
fact everyone's out there making
big.
stupid pictures of themselves and their
Yeah,
friends, and
Yeah.
like it's
Oh,
just stuff like
draw
that.
Hulk Hogan as a gorilla. Yeah,
yeah,
you know.
that kind of
Yeah. So I
But
think it is just, doesn't
very
need to
good.
be all bad.
I think it's a great point to end on, and as you've just said, not everything's all bad. We know you've come with a piece of news, and it's very good news, and it's promoting something that's very, very, very much needed, and we've discussed it in length in the first period. So, Molly, what is your news this week?
Um, about the fundraiser.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
fundraiser?
What
Please
fundraiser,
tell us
Molly?
more.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, so nothing without us. If anyone has heard of Develop Conference in Brighton, it happens every July. It's just a nice little like games developers conference. I love it. I try and go every year. It's like the best thing ever.
So,
To see people,
to put a
and
bit more
we are,
context on that,
yes.
it's the biggest video games developer conference in the UK that brings together video developers from all over the country, the biggest game companies, the biggest names, and it provides probably the best opportunity for networking in the UK inside the games industry scene. I've been there for.
That sounds like an ad. That sounds like it was read as an
I was
advert.
gonna
It
say, are
does,
you in
doesn't
the
it?
marketing team?
No, but
We
it
use
does. It's
ChatGPT for that.
yeah. Sorry, no, but it's very. I couldn't without. I've done it 2 years in a row and got some great opportunities from it, and kind of without it and not having access to it, I got access to it through a community interest group called Blind Burners, which is why I'm really passionate about what you're doing, Molly, because without the opportunity through them to go to develop, I wouldn't have had the opportunities I've had. So, like you were saying, nothing without us has.
Yeah, so we have we're doing our first ever fundraiser. which is very exciting, also very scary, to basically send either a disabled developer, professional creator to develop. And we are now, I think, like 97% of our way to our goal. We were trying to raise 750 pounds, which would cover like someone's travel and their hotel for the entirety of develop. And I think we're something like 653, I think, something like that, or 673. So we're really close to meeting our goal, which would mean then we get to give someone a full ride to develop. And it really is like, I just want to get like disabled people in the room. I think there are so many barriers to disabled people getting into these rooms to network and get jobs and get opportunities. And if we can just take like that one burden of like cost away, I will be very, very happy. So we are almost there. So if you want to donate to the fundraiser, if you just go to justgiving.com and search Nothing Without Us, we'll pop up. And we are very, very close and very excited.
Or you could just go on the link down below, where there will definitely be a link.
That too.
Yeah, just to make it easier for people. It's like,
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Go to the search bar, type in this.
I was like, we are just floating heads.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's great news to end on. Bit of mixed news this week. What do you think, Wobbs?
Yeah, great news. As I said, it's something I'm passionate about, and on behalf of me and Cameron, Mollie, I would say you've just hit your donation, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. That's done. So, yeah.
I wasn't prepared for this. There was no warning. Oh, thank you.
No, as I said, like I've been able to go to develop via a community interest group myself, so I know what it means. So, yeah, you've just hit your donation amount.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, no, you are more than welcome. But yeah, please still go and donate, because if Mollie can get more, she'll probably try and send another person. I know what she's like.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so please go and still follow the link. Go and hit that donate button, and let's try and get someone else to develop that will benefit hugely. It can.
It sounds like an exaggeration, but could change.
One conversation with a person can give you a job or an opportunity, and So please go and do that, and we will then have a quick minute break, and we will be back with this week's charity challenge, where Mollie is going to answer questions on, again, one of my favourite game series. So we will be right back with you.
Hello, everybody. We are back, and it is that time where we test our guests' knowledge of a chosen game and see if they can get a donation for a charity of their choice. So, Mollie, what is your charity?
My charity is Special Effect every time.
Special Effect. All the link will be in the below. All the link will be in the below. That's, I speak English. The link will be in the dump below to check out Special Effect 2. Quite important. And what game did you select for your charity challenge?
Well, BioShock as a whole, but like BioShock 1, but just all the BioShocks. Love them.
So, if you watch the podcast before, it goes 5 questions, and then we do a tiebreaker round at the end, no matter what the score is, just to test people. So, I believe Wobbles got question 1 this week, so over to you, sir.
Yes. Also, I love BioShock as well. So it's but my Borderlands, BioShock, and Oblivion, and this series we have touched on all 3, and it makes me so happy. Oh. So, what is the name? The first one is multiple choice. I don't think you're going to need me to give out the multiple choices, but if you,
I wanted to read them.
Cameron, every time
I've done the effort. I made the effort. You could at least read them.
What is the name of the city in which BioShock takes place? A. Rapture, B. Atlantis, C. Poolville, or D. Water?
What? I think it might be Rapture, but I can't be sure.
Oh, are you sure it's not Poolville or Water?
I don't know, Poolville. It sounds like it rings a bell, but I'm gonna go with Rapture.
You will obviously be correct. You didn't need me to confirm that.
No. So this is our second multiple choice. After this, normal multiple choice. They get a bit harder. So, what is the name of the substance used to fuel plasmids and enhance the player's ability? We got A is Eve, B is Adam, C is Jesus, D is Apple.
Oh my god! Like, what if I'm wrong? Eve.
Are you sure?
No, Adam. Adam. I didn't listen to the last one because I was so nervous. I think Adam. I was scared.
Adam's the final answer. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. It is. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Oof.
I'm like having
Okay.
I don't test well. I'm having a panic attack. Okay.
Yeah, it's Adam.
We're good. We're good.
Question number 3. What is the name of the genetically modified enemies who are the main threat throughout the game?
Okay. Oh, is this not multiple choices?
No.
Okay.
No.
Oh, splicers.
Correct. No hesitation on that one.
So, question 4. What is the first weapon the protagonist acquires after the plane crash?
Oh. Is it a wrench?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Oh my god.
So I got the first 4 as well. I didn't know this one. So as of now, you are joint second, I think.
No, joint first.
Joint first, I think, maybe, yeah. We'll have to
Yeah.
double check. But what was the original title of BioShock during its early development phase? I didn't have a clue at this.
I'll probably know it once it's said, but I don't know if I...
Anything comes into your head.
Oh. No, I don't know. I
No,
think
I
I've
didn't
heard it
know
before, but I
this.
don't know what
Yeah.
it is.
So it is Sea of Dreams.
Oh no, I wouldn't know.
No,
that.
I
thought
didn't
it was gonna
know.
be something really edgy, like
Project Metal
social
Underwater.
experiment. I thought it was gonna be something really edgy, but that's Sea of Dreams is quite
It's
calming,
quite
actually.
calm, yeah. That's what I
Yeah.
was. It's totally opposite to the kind of effect of the game you'd expect.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that was not what I expected.
But 4 to 5 are still enough to be joint first.
I don't. Yeah, we'll have to double check. But you might currently be joint first, which means the tiebreaker is quite important. So
Oh, okay.
the tiebreaker, we don't give anyone pre-warning about this. Everyone except one person so far has fallen flat on their face doing this. So do not panic.
Okay.
What
Okay.
we do is we give you, I say 30 seconds, but I give you a bit longer because I have to put a timer up. I'm going to give you a
Okay.
letter that has been randomly generated. And you have to give me as many games that begin with that letter as possible.
What if it's like X?
We won't
We
use
don't have
X.
X or
We
Z.
won't use X or Z. We've got that
Okay.
specified.
Yeah.
Okay.
So don't.
And letters we've used before. We will
Yeah.
use as well.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Right. So I've randomly generated a letter.
Is it one we've had before?
I couldn't find the. I can find the list because it's right in front. No, I can't. That's not. What this? So I have the ADHD thing of thinking that a million notepads is going to organise my life.
Yes,
No.
I feel that fine.
No, it doesn't. It makes it worse because I forget which notepad I've put stuff in. Where is it gone? This is very unprofessional of me. I swear it's this one. I thought it was this. I bet you Hayley's ripped something out. She's ripped out a wad. Right, I've lost the list, Cameron, because Hayley's used it to do a shopping list.
Oh. Damn, Haley.
I'm pretty certain we haven't had this letter because I would
Right.
remember it. Your letter is L for lollipop. So any game you can think of that begins with the letter L, like if it starts with T and the second letter's L, we will be a bit more like we're not gonna because that's savage.
Okay.
So
I don't think I've ever played a game in my entire life anymore.
I'm
Okay,
going to set you off
okay.
with a little assistance. You did a video about how they have the most toxic fan base, and if your partner is a player of that game, it's a red flag because it made me
Okay.
laugh. It made me laugh a lot.
Yes. Okay. All right. I've got 2 whole games.
Right, ready, steady, go.
Oh my god. Okay. Lake. League of Legends. Oh my god. I don't. I don't think I've ever played a game in my life. I don't. I'm now going through like every Skyrim game, every Elder Scrolls game. Um, uh, there's no game. There's no games. Um,
Done.
oh my god, that was really hard.
Yeah, everyone's done that. So
Right.
I do it with you because I don't have the list of games. Cameron Googles the list of
I
games.
got it. I got
But
it.
what I'm going to say to you now is Legend of Zelda. And that's the only one I could think of other than League of Legends.
So we could have had Ellie Noir,
Oh, what a game.
Oh, I love that game.
Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light.
This
Lara
is
Croft
so,
4,
Oh no,
this
Lara
is
Croft.
so obvious.
Left 4 Dead,
Oh my god, Left 4 Dead.
and this one is the kicker, Lego.
Oh,
We have even discussed Lego games this
Lego
podcast.
Think
I
of the
literally-
Lego games they've been. Lemons,
wait, let me.
Liza P, Life is Strange,
Oh,
Like a
that's
Dragon,
strange.
Limbo.
I'm now opening my
Little
Steam
Nightmares.
library to see if I have any L games.
Lollipop Chainsaw, Little Big Planet is
So like I've said, don't panic because everyone does the exact same thing as you.
People, yeah.
That's why we did it, because we knew everyone would freeze. I think the best one was one person got M, realised they could do the whole Madden series, and that's why they did so
Oh, that's
well.
very good.
Was it M that they did it on, or was it something
It was
else?
something like that, yeah. But they got a series and then they were like flying.
Yeah.
I was hoping for like F because I would have been like FIFA 2020.
This is what I said. If you get FIFA, you're golden.
2021.
Yeah. If you get F,
Final
you've got FIFA and Final Fantasy. Just go. But
Yeah.
right. So if you come first, we will obviously let you know, and there will be a £50 donation from myself and Cameron to Special Effects. We'll put a link in Special Effects down below, but for those of you that don't know, because we didn't mention it earlier, they are a charity that, funnily enough, works in the accessibility space. They do lots of different things and are just a pretty good charity, as Mollie said. They're amazing. So I've undersold them a little bit there. But that brings us to the end of this week's episode. And again, Mollie's information and the things Mollie does will be in the dump below. I've got like a lot of love for Mollie and what she does, because watching Mollie come at kind of the same pace I've come through the accessibility scene, and like I said, we've divoted and both gone different ways, but Mollie's hit on a subject of mine that I very, very much agree with, that to succeed in the games industry, especially from our angle, you have to be at these events. And unfortunately, one, most of these events aren't accessible, and two, they cost a lot of money to get to attend, to be at. And so, Mollie, I think what you're doing is phenomenal. You need to keep up the good work. And like I said earlier on, pat yourself on the back once in a while, please. And but that has been this week's episode of To Put It Bluntly. I've been the Wobbly Gamer.
I've been Cameron. We'll be back soon.
And
I
that,
think.
yes, we will.
Should be.
And that has been Mollie, or as you may know her, Little Motak.